All right, boys. Welcome to episode 49.
49.
49. Grab yourself a little slurp. Let's get this going.
Let's get this day started.
Had a little technical difficulties just now, so we gotta, just had to redo it.
If it will do it live.
Yep. It'll buff. Anyway, fight week for me. 6 days out.
Big fight week.
Yep.
What you fighting at? Where you fighting?
135. Connor Smith. He's a good opponent. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's gonna try to grapple. If he tries to stand with me, he's probably gonna get knocked out. But I don't.
The ground game is where it gets fun for you.
Yeah.
I've seen your fights. You like the people like bringing it to the ground, and it's fun to watch you.
Yeah, I enjoy, like, people think that I hate, jiu-jitsu and wrestling, but I actually really love jiu-jitsu and wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so 6 days out, it's gonna be fun.
Be fighting for the title.
Yeah.
Or defending the title.
Defending
actually.
the title. Yeah.
The champ is already here.
The champ is here.
All right.
But all right, let's get into the UFC fight card. Anyway, so we're talking about Brian Battle. This dude may be the most savage motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so they're fighting in France. He's fighting a French guy. He fucking walks out. Guess what song he walked out to?
What? I don't know.
N-Words in Paris.
Oh my.
He,
What's this guy look like? What's his ethnicity?
he's American.
That was the wrong answer. What's his skin color?
He talks a little weird. His nickname's the Butcher.
Ooh.
Here, let me show you a picture of him real quick. I don't know what he is, though, to be honest.
And where's in Paris?
He's a little different looking.
Oh. Yeah.
But anyway, so he walks out to that song, which, I mean, if you already go with that, like, that dude's savage.
That's a bold move, yeah.
Then he just straight pieces this dude up in France. Just fucks this dude up.
Mm-hmm.
Ends up finishing him in the second. It was pretty gnarly. Then after he finishes and they stop it, he turns around and he just starts flipping the whole French crowd off. And the whole crowd's booing him, and he's just flipping them off the whole time. And then they interview him, and he's like, keep booing, I fucking love that shit. Keep booing. And they ended up fining him 250 G's.
For acting that way?
And the French commission banned him from ever fighting in France again.
Oh my god.
I was like, dude, Dana's got to pay that. Like, Dana's got to, like, that.
He should, yeah.
That immediately, dude,
that's more than, like, that's way too much for...
Yeah, $250,000 for flipping a crowd off, bro. Where they're literally fighting each other in a cage. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, you guys can punch each other in the face until you're knocked out, but flipping off is the next step.
That's the line.
That's the line.
Like, what? But, I mean, that dude gained so many fans from that.
I'm about to be a fan.
Yeah.
Right after that. I'm going to look this up.
Yeah.
I love people like that.
Yeah, I mean, just no regard. He did not care. It was so funny.
He was on top of the world, and he knew it.
And then Moicano came out and just straight up busted Benoit Saint Denis up in Saint Denis' own. Like, they ended up stopping the fight completely.
For what?
Doctor stoppage in the second round. He, like...
Oh.
Saint Denis threw a kick. He, like, I think it was a left roundhouse. He threw a left roundhouse, and Moicano defended it perfectly. He, like, scooped it, and when he scooped it, he, like, scooped it and threw his leg and took his back while he did it. And then, I mean, Moicano's, like, ground game is elite.
Yeah.
And so he basically just got on top of him. He ended up taking his back on the ground, got him in a body triangle, and then, like, Saint Denis kept trying to, like, turn and stuff, and Moicano was just flowing with the positions, and so he'd turn, he'd mount him, and was just elbowing the shit out of him. Like, his eyes, let me see if I can find a picture. His eyes were busted up.
Yeah, Those body triangles, very underrated. Those hurt like a bitch. Into the elbows.
Yeah. He was like, I mean, they literally stopped it. His whole face was just
covered.
Yeah, it was like his whole, like it said, oh, okay. So it went 2 rounds. It was going into the third. The doctor came in. His whole right eye was like completely swollen shut.
Oh my God.
He couldn't see anything out of it. And I was watching the ref was holding up the fingers, and he was like 4. I mean 2. 3. And so he got like a couple of them right, and then they closed his left eye, and they were...
Yeah, he couldn't do anything.
None of them.
He's just blind at that point. Yeah, that's why they have the doctors there.
Which kind of sucks, because I mean...
Because it never stopped Michael Bisping.
Yeah, true. I don't know how he ever did that. There's another fighter in the UFC right now. I forget his name. He's some Russian dude. Yeah, he's got the blind eye, but they don't let him fight in America. Yep.
He only fights in Saudi Arabia and like Australia or whatever else, which is still insane.
I mean, and that dude's like, I think his name's the Bullet.
The Bullet. It's like Murgamedabadov.
Yeah, it's some crazy. Here, let me look up that guy's name. The Bullet UFC.
I just learned about the Michael Bisping thing. I didn't know he lost his eye and was still fighting.
I think he won the title.
Yeah, he won like 3 or 4 fights afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think people realize like how tough that is to do. Because I mean, that throws your depth perception off.
Everyone at home literally just do this and have someone stand on that right side and
throw punches.
At you. Yeah, like just practice it. It's not that. Just try to walk for any bit of time. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Let alone fighting for your life.
Against literally trained killers.
The best in the world.
Yeah. His name's Shara Magomedov.
This
is what he looks like. That dude's fucking scary. Oh,
he
shit.
He looks Amish and scary as hell.
He looks like Amish, Russian, and Irish all combined.
Yes, because he's ginger.
Yes. That's so funny. But, all right, let's transition a little bit. Let's talk about this Connor Stallion thing. If most of you don't know who that is, Connor Stallions he was actually in the military, and he was a coach. Well, I wouldn't really call him a coach. He was like an analyst for Michigan, for the University of Michigan. I don't know. I don't know what to believe.
What I believe from the documentary thing that I saw.
Did you see the one on Netflix?
So I didn't watch all of it, but I saw the main thing of what his process was, or what he said his process was. And it's almost like it's literally just less cheating and so much more of him just picking a fine skill that nobody else was like, and putting 10,000 hours into it. Like, that's his whole job. His job was like professional sign choreographer or whatever.
Right.
And the video I saw, he spent like white wall or whatever, and he just stood next to it and just did every sign, practiced it, and basically like flashcards, instead of words on a card, he just would put up a sign or see a sign, and remember it.
Yeah, I saw it too, and I completely agree. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I just think that dude was way too, like, he's just super smart.
Yeah, and he just found a niche, like
exactly. Like, no other university, I don't think, was doing that much. He just took it to another level.
Yeah, he was just... Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you always have that one person that kind of, like, revolutionizes a certain skill, and I think that's what he did.
Yeah, he literally changed college football.
Yeah. I mean, well, and they were arguing, like, just didn't even make sense. And, like, I'm a fucking Ohio State fan, and I was like, why wouldn't you be allowed to... Why would you not do that?
Yeah, why would you not say, hey, one person on our trillion guys on staff on our $1 million budget, why not just say, hey, you're going to work 70 hours. This is your one job.
Yep.
Tell us what you need. Like,
yeah. I don't...
Now, him doing the signs is excusable. I don't know what he was doing on Central Michigan's sideline.
I know. Was that do you think that was actually him?
I'm pretty sure.
It looks exactly...
Didn't they, like, ping his phone or something like that? I'm not sure. I thought they confirmed it.
They might have. But in the documentary, I don't know if you got that far, but in the documentary, he holds up a picture beside his face, and he's like, I don't even think this guy looks like me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That dude is exactly you.
With sunglasses.
With sunglasses and a beard. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, literally, like, you're not Superman.
Right, like, that's literally, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's probably not. Like, he shouldn't have been able to do that. But even, like, they were trying to get him for buying tickets for, like, family members to go to other... Like, they were questioning him for buying tickets for family members to, like, other Big Ten games that Michigan was not playing in.
Yes.
And it was like, I don't know.
What it was because he was buying these tickets for family and friends and sending people to scout. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to say, like, that's not, like, lawful, but it's like his defense was, if I had the ticket and I went, I could do it. And you can't stop me. Yeah. Like, so really the only little, like, gray area is the fact that he's having someone else do it for him. Right. Which makes it look shady. But it's like, I really don't think it's...
I mean, it's just kind of stupid, I think. Like,
it's like picking at straws. Like,
right.
Like, you had to have something to do with this. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. You're so good at this skill that you had to be cheating,
yeah.
Like, no.
No, I'm just good.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of felt bad. They ended up giving him like a 3-year ban from coaching. Like, he's not allowed to coach in the NCAA for 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I saw that he coached a high school game.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
60-0.
Yeah. I mean, the dude is nothing. Like, he's brilliant.
Yeah. But he's a specialist. Or he's a specialist.
Yeah, like, he literally...
And that's all right, but...
Exactly. Like, I don't know. It kind of frustrated me because, I mean, I felt bad for him. You know, it was...
Lost his job and...
Yeah, like, he literally lost his
dream job.
Dream job at the University of Michigan. I don't know. I just think they kind of screwed him. It was when... that lawyer was like, I cannot, like... He said, what did he say? He said, I've defended... He was Johnny Manziel's lawyer against the NCAA.
Oh.
And he was like, yeah, I hate the NCAA. They're a bunch of scumbags, pretty much. Like,
I mean, they didn't pay their players for how long? Like, when they easily could have.
I don't even really, like...
We could go so deep into that if we wanted to. Like, it's so obvious, though.
Yeah.
Shady stuff.
And my parents would, like, argue with me, and I was like, no, you're wrong. Like, these players are putting in over 40 hours a week. Oh, not even remotely close to
40 hours just, like, in school.
Yeah. And they're generating billions of dollars. Like, billions. Like, I think the NCAA is worth, like, $290 billion. Or, I just threw a number out of my ass, but...
It's something insane.
It's insane.
It's the whole country, like...
The NCAA ended the 2023 fiscal year with $1.3 billion in revenue and $870 million in net assets. You can't fucking pay the players of, 100 G's.
Yeah. Can't pay.
What the fuck is wrong with you? That's literal slavery. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the definition. I don't know. That shit just pisses me off. I can't.
Yeah, if you generate money, you should be getting that money.
Yeah.
In some extent.
Exactly. It's like... I mean, I get not being able to directly pay the players as, like, universities. Like, that makes sense because, you're Ohio State. You're worth...
You're a campus
$600 million. And then you have Bowling Green, who's worth $20 million. Like, okay, if I'm a 5-star recruit, no fucking shot I'm going to Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get paid way more money to go to Ohio State. Like, yeah, that makes sense. But if you... Like, the NIL is a perfect example. But people weren't even allowed to fucking, like, who was that guy? Destroying? He was a kicker.
Destroying, yeah, he was a kicker for UCF when they were, like, really good at their peak. And, yeah, just made a couple YouTube videos. He wasn't even getting paid for the YouTube videos, I don't think.
I don't think he was either.
Because I think he didn't have enough followers, but just because he was, like, had the avenue to make money.
Yeah.
They ruined his college
career. Because it was his name associated with UCF. I was
Yeah,
are
because
you
he was
fucking
kicking like on the field or something like that. It's like
what?
pays to go there or is given a scholarship or whatever happened.
I don't know. That shit is just really pathetic. But anyway,
We've come a long way.
yeah, thank God.
Honestly, took destroying took down. He walked so we could run.
Yep, he was pretty much the one that said it. You know,
Set it off all those years ago.
domino effect type shit. Did you see Reggie Bush suing the NCAA?
Is he? I saw they gave him his Heisman back.
Yeah, he's suing him for the NIL stuff. He's suing because, I mean, Reggie Bush would have made so much money from NIL.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't understand how you can do that because it's like, it was still illegal then, but if that opens a doorway, Johnny Manziel is walking through that motherfucker.
He's busting that thing down,
Oh, God.
saying, hold my pocket, young fella. I'm walking through.
Yeah. He's going to go in there and slap his nutsack on the table and be like, here, daddy's here, give me my money.
You see Kyle Field, Texas? I own that. Give me that.
Yeah.
That's
he
me.
owns all of it.
That's me. Me and Mike Evans,
He damn near owns college football. Like, that motherfucker is...
He's the biggest name.
I saw somebody say the other day that, is Shadur more popular than Johnny... No, not even remotely close.
No.
They're not even in the same conversation. That dude is easily the biggest college football star ever.
Yeah, people still talk about his college.
Yeah,
It's been 10 years.
Yeah. It's been that long.
He got drafted 2014. 21st by the Browns.
First round? Or first pick?
First round. 21st pick.
Oh, okay. 21st, yeah.
Ain't no way Johnny Manziel went first. Amazing quarterback, though.
I mean,
In college.
somebody said the other day that Baker Mayfield is the same Baker Mayfield's literally Johnny Manziel.
Buttoned up.
Yeah. If he didn't go out and fucking get, snorting lines off.
If he watched any ounce of film,
Yeah.
he didn't even read a minute.
That's so funny.
But yeah, he would get paid an insane amount by the NCAA. And I hope Reggie does, and I hope every single one of them do.
I do too. I mean, they stole so much from them. That's so pathetic.
They'll probably just look at, what the top 5 people are making today, do a little number inflation, and probably give them that. Or that's probably what they'll ask for, at least.
That makes sense.
That's probably how it should be.
I mean, that's how it should be. I don't think you can necessarily go back and be like, okay, they would definitely have made this much money.
Yeah, it's all rough, but
it's like a hard thing to actually do. But either way, I mean, anything is going to be better than nothing, I think.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Especially, yeah, yeah. Anyway, let's get to the shit that the actual. So, I know you asked me the other day, is God real? And I said, or what'd you say? You said.
I said, do you believe in a God?
Do you believe in a God? So.
Or really anything in general?
I absolutely believe that there is a God. But, I don't know. I think it's more complex than just, is there a God?
Yes.
Is there not a God?
Way more complex.
So, we'll talk about some theories.
Mm-hmm.
I got these all jumbled up. But we'll just fucking jump from one to the other.
Hit me.
All right. So the first theory we got is somewhat, the multiverse theory. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's very complicated. Essentially, it says, the multiverse theory is a fascinating concept that suggests there might be countless other universes besides our own.
Yeah. I don't disagree with it, I guess. One thing, when that is brought up, the different universes and stuff, I always think of, I get deja vu like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Where I dream a whole, sequence of a day and go to work.
Yeah.
Literally, sentence by sentence, oh my God, I've been through this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why it happens. Doesn't really make sense to me, but every time it does happen, I'm like, I think that's the right.
Yeah.
I did something right to get here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely in my head, there's other universes where something leads to another and that doesn't happen. And
yeah.
I didn't experience it, but something
yeah,
out there. There's infinite timelines, you know? Like,
Yeah.
every decision you make, you could have made the opposite decision.
So, there's a theory that I heard. I don't know if this is exactly like the multiverse theory, but it's... So basically, this is what I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's more than just this one theory. I think a lot of them, like, tie into each other.
And most of the times they do.
You know? Yeah.
Nothing's ever really one.
Yeah.
Everything's gray.
It's usually always, like, there's a little bit of truth in everything.
Yep.
It's not always, this is the exact... And I think anyone who says, this is the way, it's like, you're an idiot. Like, no one is ever going to figure this out, I don't think.
Yeah.
But what I personally believe is, like, our bodies, we, like everything vibrates at a certain frequency. We just can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this table and stuff is vibrating right now. It's
Yeah.
just vibrating so fast. Like,
Technically, nothing is touching each other.
Exactly.
I've always heard that.
Yep. So, like, you put your fingers together, they're not touching. There's a space in between there.
Yep.
If there wasn't, it would just go right through each other. But everything is, like, related to your soul, like your mind, like your mind's eye, your soul. So, and then that goes into, like, me and my stepdad were talking about, I'm going to try to, like, kind of stay on track. But me and my stepdad were talking about it the other day. It could either be your soul, your intuition, the Holy Spirit. Almost every religion kind of points in the same direction. They just have different terms for it.
That's all it is. It's just different terms.
It's
Same general idea.
Exactly. But what I believe is that, so everyone vibrates at a certain frequency. And then that's why, like, when you're vibrating at certain frequencies, you come into contact with people at that time. So, like, if two people are vibrating at a specific frequency at a certain time, they'll run into each other. They'll, they'll just kind of connect more so than they would at other times, if that makes sense.
No, I agree completely.
And then
energy and aura is the big word recently. Is big.
But so I believe that, like, it can go both ways. So as you progress your mind in a positive way, you kind of, like, so there's a bunch of parallel universes, and each parallel universe is you in a different universe, just in, like, a different area of where your life's supposed to be. Does that make sense? So as you grow more positive, you, like, shift into different parallel universes as you get more positive and grow, and it kind of, like, levels you up. And the opposite is also probably true. Like, if you go more negative,
No, it definitely is. You have explained it perfectly. That's kind of exactly how these past 2 months have gone for me. I've done a complete shift change in my mind, and, like, I don't know, I've met so many different people.
Yeah.
Talked to so many people. I've got so much help from other, like, random people or whatever that I've run into. I have a ton of crazy stories about it, but
I mean, we can get into it.
I'm not sure. Well, hold off. It doesn't really make sense right now.
All right.
But yeah, energy is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe if you give out good energy, it'll come right back.
Yeah.
Call it karma, call it luck, call it whatever. Call it a belief.
Again, with the terminology, I think it's just a big thing. Like, I read a book a while ago, and it was kind of like, it kind of, I don't want to say changed my life, but it kind of, like, changed the way I, like, really thought about things. It's called The Law of Attraction. It's over there. I don't know who wrote it, but basically, and it's very, I've talked about this before. It's very, like, it's pretty common. Like, it's common sense. Like, so
what's common sense? What's common sense?
Okay, let's say you have two people.
Yes.
Both of those people encounter the same exact situation. Like, something not great. Not necessarily positive. Like, something,
like losing your phone. or
more like on a bigger scale than
Okay.
that. So like we'll say like you fail a class like I did. You fail a class and you're set back an entire year from graduation. You have two people. One person can look at that like their life's over, all negative.
I failed school.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to get that because
Exactly.
I didn't miss my deadline.
And then that's the way that their life goes, is in a negative direction. You have the other person that thinks, okay, this is an opportunity for me to grow. This is an opportunity for me to fix some of the things that I am not good at.
Mm-hmm.
And then their life goes in a positive direction. So they go in two different ways just based on the way that they think about the same exact encounter. So that's basically what to me, that's what the law of attraction means to me. So like, if you think about everything in a positive way, your life is going to be positive.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
So that's just...
Sounds cliche, but just you literally have to stay positive.
Yeah. It is pretty cliche, but I think cliches, like...
It's like
if it wasn't a good thing, if it wasn't like if it wasn't true or it wasn't a good statement, it wouldn't be a cliche.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like good stereotypes. It's like...
Yeah.
It's a stereotype, but it makes
Right.
sense most of the time. For
Yeah.
better.
All right, so the multiverse theory, I guess. Let's go back a little bit. The multiverse theory is a fascinating concept that suggests there's countless other universes besides our own. According to this theory, these universes could be very different from ours, or they could be nearly identical with slight variations. The idea comes from quantum mechanics and cosmology. It implies there could be other versions of ourselves living in different lives in these other universes. So like quantum mechanics is something that like a lot of people don't even realize. Like some of the smartest physicists in the world can't even really comprehend quantum mechanics, which is insane. Like they understand like parts of it, but they don't fully understand it. They don't know what it is really.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks fucking weird. So, all right, let's go to the next. So we got simulation theory.
Simulation?
Simulation theory, obviously, just kind of, you know, we're in a video game, basically, is essentially what that theory is.
Yeah.
Elon Musk thinks it's 1,000 times more likely that we're in a simulation than anything else. A lot of people don't like that, though.
Yeah. Yeah, because it makes it, you feel like you're not in control of what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I think it's very likely too.
I think, and I think a lot of people think of it like in a negative way too. Sometimes, like,
yeah, they think,
what's the point if we're just in a video game? It's like, well, then you can look at it like a video game.
Then you know what? Two people are gonna look at it. They're gonna go. One person's gonna go, look, we're in a video game. Oh, what am I gonna do? Am I just gonna sit and pout? Oh, there's no reason to live. There's no better thing to do. I'm in a video game. And someone else is gonna go, damn, I'm in a video game. I'm gonna jump off this. I'm gonna jump off the side of this mountain. I'm gonna do great things. I'm gonna change the world, or I'm gonna play my game.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. I mean, you said it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
There are some case studies of different people remembering different runs of the simulation. So, like, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast. I forget the guy's name, but he's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a video game developer, and he was basically saying that like it was insane. You know, like anything about bits or like computer things,
Like
bits of information. Essentially, it's like you can have 0 bit or 1. I don't know. I'm not great with computers either, but you can have 0 bit or like 1 bit. And then
like coding, like the 0 ones.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And essentially, if you break down like our cells or like any like particles to its like most basic form, it's essentially a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, okay, our reality is being rendered from a different not from here, basically.
Yeah. Did you see that they think there's life somewhere else? They found
Oh, really?
they found lights on another planet.
I did not see that.
At least from what I saw, I forget where.
That's...
But they said they found lights on another planet, and they said, which means we're not alone. We've never been alone, because obviously can't create energy.
Yeah.
So the energy had to be there somewhere.
Yep. Can't create nor destroy. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I've never really thought we've been alone. I mean, how large... Like, our universe is only one universe. There's, like, an infinite number of universes.
We're a grain of sand and something out there
Yeah, it's...
in a whole beach.
But there are case studies. Anyway, back to that guy. He was talking about that there was one guy that remembered World War II, and Germany won World War II. And the United States was not the United States. Like, it was controlled by another country, like Germany. And he, like, remembered it clear. Like, he knew, like, he was like, what the fuck is going on, basically. Yeah. And essentially the simulation was rerun to, I mean, where we are now. Mm-hmm. Because basically it was like, okay, well, this part of the simulation, or this run of the simulation, this ain't going to go far. Everybody's going to die.
Yeah, they hit the checkpoint. They said, let me hold up. Let me pause this real quick.
Restart from last checkpoint, pretty much. Yeah, which, I mean, that would be crazy. I think.
I've heard stories of people, like kids or whatever, and they're like, they know of like a war or something, or they know of this, and they're like, oh, where's Sally at? Or where's this at? And they're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, my wife Sally. Like, and it's like some kid, and they're fully convinced that like they've lived another life, and they've.
I mean, I believe it. That's.
There's no other way to like. From the videos I've seen, there's no other way they could have, like, unless they faked the videos, and there's no other way they could have actually, like, known the things that they would have known.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, kids are very creative, and they're very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
their imagination.
Yeah, they have very good imaginations, but, like, I don't think to that extent. Like, they can't create very, reliable sources of information where it's like, hey, this is...
Well, they'd have to know what... Yeah, they'd have to know what a war is and all that, and know what it looks like and know what all the depths.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You can't just think of... You can think of plenty of things, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean... But... Let's go through some of these theories real quick.
What's another theory? We did animation.
We did simulation and multiverse. Let's do... The holographic principle. That's interesting. The holographic principle is a theory that suggests our three-dimensional universe might actually be a projection from a 2D surface at the edge of the universe. This idea comes from the study of black holes and implies that all the information about our universe could be stored on this flat surface, similar to how a hologram stores 3D image on a 2D plate. If this is true, it would mean that our experience, volume, and space are just projections from this 2D realm, fundamentally changing our understanding of how the universe works. I don't know if I necessarily...
Whoa.
Beyond my comprehension.
That definitely seems like the most far out one.
Yeah, thus far, for sure.
So you're saying...
Simulation. Okay, we talked about that one. If this were true, this is the simulation theory. If this were true, it would mean that everything we experience is just programmed code. We wouldn't be able to easily tell the difference between simulation and reality. That is kind of crazy. Multiverse theory. The brain world. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say there's always like jokes. People are like, "Oh, when you go to the fridge, you're like saving state," or like, or like, there's definitely sometimes where you just like people have those days where you're just like. Nothing. It just doesn't work up there, and you're like, "What do I? I'm not feeling what I'm like. I'm not myself today." And
and I mean, dude, I've had like real life, like I'm not fucking joking, like legitimate real life interactions with NPCs, like 100%.
For sure, there's some 100%. People that are literally. I was talking to my friend. I was like, I forget the example I gave, but I was like, yeah, some people are just NPCs, like they. Or they think of other people as NPCs at least, where it's like, oh, you're just here to do one thing.
Yes.
To serve me or to like.
Yeah.
And honestly, I started talking to people like they're NPCs. Boost my confidence.
I mean, yeah.
Because like, what are they gonna do? They ain't gonna change my life.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's a good way of looking at it. If it's actually real life simulation theory, even if it's not, I mean, you could just look at people like that. Mm-hmm. You know who I think is kind of an NPC?
Who?
I love him. Doug.
I knew you were going to say Doug. No, he is.
I love
because
Doug, but
the amount of stuff he's done, it literally just seems like he's there to be a wealth of knowledge. Like he's just around, and like if you get him talking, you'll learn so much.
I know, and he has the craziest stories.
He's been to. I mean, sorry, but he's been to. Sorry, Doug. You've been to jail. You've been to this, that.
Oh God, I think he's just one of those people. He's kind of like
he's experienced life.
Yeah, I feel like he's just one of those people that's like super. I don't know. He's just there to bring people happy. Like he
really is. He's just like all joy.
Yes, he is.
Like, a bundle of joy.
Let's talk about this one. I haven't heard this one before. Brain world scenario. This looks interesting. Look at this. Look at this fucking picture. The brain world scenario is a theory that imagines our universe as a 3D brain spelled BRANE, drifting in a higher dimensional expanse called the bulk. This model suggests the existence of our parallel brains, each potentially harboring its own universe. Such a framework.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
It says this model suggests the existence of parallel brains, each potentially harboring its own universe. Such a framework could shed light on the peculiar imbalance observed in subatomic forces, and even entertain the notion of interactions between our universe and neighboring ones. It's a concept that stretches the boundaries of our. I don't even know what the fuck that's talking about, to be honest with you. I guess we can. That may kind of go into another theory I wanted to discuss, I guess.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of similar, but maybe not. But I heard this theory on Instagram the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's the theory that, like, the entire universe that we experience is God. Like, the whole thing. The whole experience, like, is God. Is, like, consciousness, essentially. Consciousness is essentially God, is what they're saying.
Yeah, and the collective conscious.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing. And then each person, like you and me, we're experiencing like a super diluted, focused form of consciousness. So like, does that make sense? It's like you have like the whole universe, or like, it's kind of hard to explain, but like the whole universe is just one consciousness, and then each person is like their own individual consciousness of the larger consciousness,
like shrunk down, like doubled and shrunk down into each person.
Yes, but it's like each one has their own focal point of that larger consciousness. That
and it all comes together.
Yes.
Yeah, people have their roles, and like, if you need to find your role to be successful. It goes with anything.
I agree, and I think
friend groups, everybody needs a role, or else it doesn't really last.
Yep.
Jobs, obviously, that's self-explanatory.
That kind of goes. So, I feel like listening to your soul is like one of the most important things that you can do. If that makes sense. Like.
Yep.
So I
do what
argue,
makes you happy.
I argue with my parents about this all the time because they're super, like, religious. Mm-hmm. They like religion. What are your thoughts on religion?
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
So, my point of view is I don't really... Well, I've kind of changed recently. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, before, when I first started thinking like this and being positive, and I didn't have a name for it. I never put a name on it. I just was like praying or hoping, wishing into the universe, wishing for the best, and just being grateful, appreciative, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And everything started turning around, and one day I was just like, I don't know, every once in a while I'm like, God, give me a sign. And I did that so many times, and enough things happened where I was like, all right, obviously I can put a name to something. So I don't want to call it a god.
Yeah.
But I think just believing in the energy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
To me, energy is like the big thing recently. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna keep that same energy. You're gonna give the same energy. Take it.
I 100% agree with that. Like, and I always argue with my parents about this because, I mean, they're like I said, they're religious.
Mm-hmm.
However, do you know how many religions there are? There's over 4,200 religions in the entire world. So how can you, like, in each one of those religions, of the 4,200 religions, every single one of them thinks that they're right. And so how can you tell another religion that they're wrong? Because they're only believing what they've only known. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so if, you do everything in your power by that religion and you follow all the rules and you do everything and you, like, give your life to God,
Mm-hmm.
how can you say that the other 4,199 religions are wrong and they're all going to go to hell and be punished for it? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So, like, personally, and I've always said this, let's give two scenarios. Like, if you're one person who believes in God, but he doesn't have, like, a signified religion,
Mm-hmm.
but he works on himself or herself, don't want to be gender,
You gotta be inclusive.
Yep.
Them.
Like, they work on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They always try to grow. Like, okay, I'm,
Just better one
yeah,
day by day.
exactly. Like,
Hey, I messed this up yesterday.
let's try to work
I'm gonna
on
be better
this.
on that.
Exactly. I focus on my relationships. I work on my relationships. I focus on being a better person. I'm following my intuition or soul or God or whatever you want to call it, and I'm chasing my dreams, that what I've been put here to do, I'm trying to do. You have that person. Which
I believe I'm in that boat.
to me, that is what God wants. That's literally what God wants. Or you have someone and they're always positive, right? Or you have the other person who's, like, super religious, but they're super negative and they never work on themselves.
The stereotypical, like,
Yeah.
shitty family that wakes up at 9 a.m. on Sunday to take their kids to church, but nobody wants to go.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you're doing it for what? Yes, you're doing it because the book says so, but you're not believing in what you're doing.
Exactly.
And to me, it's not about rules. It shouldn't be about rules, because really, if there's a God that you believe in, he wouldn't constrict anybody to anything. Everyone can do anything they want.
Yeah.
Why would he put anyone in a box to say, follow this? This is how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
When realistically, like, everyone's in their own consciousness throughout their own head and stuff. You should just live through your own universe, I guess. Like, live true to yourself. Like you're saying, follow your goals, what you're here to do, and everything else will work out around you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it literally just comes, like, do you think God cares about waking up, like you said, at 9 a.m. on a fucking Sunday, dressing up and going to church?
I think he cares more about the other 6 days.
Exactly. I 100% agree. I think he worries about, okay, is this, okay, he's angry, or he, like, he's quick to anger, like somebody irritates him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is he trying to fix that? Okay, yeah, he's trying to work on that. Is he improving these other areas that he's not good at? Yeah, okay, he's trying to do that.
Yeah. Is he being negligent, or is he doing something with the purpose to get better?
Yeah, like, and that's
the
what I
intent
believe.
The intent is so much in it.
Yes, like you said, are they waking up at 9 a.m. on
or
a
expectations?
Sunday? Yes,
expectations are the biggest, or not the biggest. I keep saying the biggest. Expectations are very big. If you don't expect much. If you don't expect much, a lot more, you get a lot more.
Yeah.
If you expect things to happen, they don't happen.
Yeah, and I think that goes into, like, I think you are, like, a part of God.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, you were created by God. So you're...
If God is the collective, collective consciousness, then
yes,
we all are a part of that.
Right. And, like, if you're created by him, you're, like, part of his creation, which makes you a part of him.
Yeah, like...
And
family.
So Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he really gives a fuck about you waking up at 9 and going to church. I think he cares about how you treat other people. Are you doing what you're called to do? And are you just trying to better yourself? I think that's what he cares about. I don't think.
I think that's really the key. That should be the key to
I think
religion.
Yep, 100%.
And really, again, everyone just has their own word for it, their own.
Yeah.
Saying their own. Yeah, what they think is right for themselves.
And I always heard my stepdad talk about this, and I respect my parents and my stepdad a lot, but I always heard them talk about, do you, you want a relationship, God wants you to have a relationship with him, but I don't think they necessarily, fully understood what they meant by that. I think it just goes back to what we were just talking about. I think it goes back to, you need to have a good relationship with yourself. You need to be super self-aware. That's what I think that means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not necessarily I'm going to spend 5 hours a day reading. I think reading the Bible is probably a good thing, but I don't think it's
there's different type of relations. It's like in nature. There's I think what most people think of it as, if I love God, God will love me. Mm-hmm. But it's God should always love. Mm-hmm. Really should always love you. He's trying, I guess. If you're trying, he's trying. And what was the point I was trying to get?
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I just had. What did we just say?
Basically, I think the relationship with yourself is more, and that's what reading the Bible is, right? You're reading the Bible
to learn
how you should be acting, and the Bible is just a giant ass book of metaphors and guidance on the way you should live your life.
Yeah.
It's not okay, I'm reading this Bible for 6 hours a day and I'm spending time with God. It's no. Your consciousness, like we just said, is part of God. So you're using that book to better yourself, which is then you're having a relationship with yourself, i.e. God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it just kind of irritates me when people think that religion trumps everything else. It's it doesn't.
No.
It
should flow. It should flow.
Yeah. It should feel right. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be one of those things.
Shouldn't be forced.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you... Yeah.
Oh, shit. When was religion created?
What is religion?
We'll look that up. What? I think religion is something that's why I always say I'm spiritual. I'm not religious.
Spiritual.
Because religion, I heard this a long time ago and I forget. I think Kevin Gates is the one who said it, actually. He said...
Wise words.
Which is a fucking wild... That man is wild.
Mm-hmm.
But he made a really good point. He said, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. I can religiously go to prison. I can religiously, wake up and do drugs. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm a spiritual person. Which I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, that should be... That's a better way of putting it, spiritual.
Religion is...
Because religion is something you follow. Religion is more or less a cult.
It literally, that's what it is. Exactly.
All of religion was, when it started, was when people would travel. It was just a way to keep it was a reason to keep people together. Mm-hmm. It was hey, you want to go? You like the same things I do? Let's hang out. And then it was it just became a bigger idea, and you go across the lands and back then, and you find people and you convert them, and
right. And we can go deep into this. This can get real deep. So, have you ever heard of Bob Lazar?
I don't think so.
And
it
kind of goes into what you were saying earlier about how they found lights and stuff and energy on a different planet. Mm-hmm. So this guy was a physicist at this company, and the U.S. government recruited him to work at Area 51. And so he went to work at Area 51. Basically, he was given a document that stated religion. So our humans are containers for souls. That's all we are. We're just containers. We just hold souls until we die. Which, I mean, if you think about it, is literally true.
I mean, if you think about it, we're literally only the little brain. You're
yeah.
No, what is all this?
Yeah, exactly. And then when we die, where does our soul go? Nobody knows. So basically the document said that we're just containers for souls, and that religion is something to preserve those souls. So religion is what was created by aliens or whatever to kind of okay, we want these people to be as pure as possible. And I don't know if they fucking eat us when we die or whatever happens, but I mean, essentially they want us to be as pure as possible. So they don't want us to do drugs. They don't want us to do any of this stuff. So they created religion to get all these people to kind of believe in this cult to go through their life so they don't ever, have an open mind. They're super closed-minded. They don't try anything out of the norm. They don't do anything. They just self-preserve. Stay in line, self-preserve until they die, and then that soul goes somewhere else. And that was a document from the U.S. government.
Oh, yeah. They said aliens? Or
I don't know if it actually said aliens. I'd have to read more into it, but I know it said, essentially we're just containers for souls, and religion was meant to preserve that, which is a wild claim. I mean, that just, yeah.
It's a lot to think about.
This says, though, that religion started, there's an archaeological evidence that religion existed as early as 60,000 BC. Signs of specific burial customs and cult rituals indicate that religion or religious practices began with these. That's a long fucking time ago.
Yeah, Ice Age or something? Probably.
Something like that.
Neanderthals.
I was reading this book. I think it was the On the Warrior's Path book. I feel like I'm more in tune with Buddhism and Taoism, which is old ancient Asian religions.
Yep.
So
I've heard of Taoism. It's been a minute though.
Buddhism is basically Buddha kind of had a good he was kind of you need to think for yourself. Don't ever get so don't ever believe so deeply in one religion, because then that ultimately closes your mind off to grow. You'll never grow after that, because if any other outside opinion is presented to you, you're automatically going to be nope, because you're so close-minded, because you believe that religion so deeply that it's honestly a curse to do that.
So Buddha believes in taking an overview, the all
kind of just
pieces,
having an open mind.
Again, not everything is black and white. You should take pieces of, I should be a good person because of this one, or I should do this because of that.
That's
just really take the best of each. That's kind of how you should live your life.
With everything.
Yeah. There's a reason these people... So, the way I think of stuff like that... Well, I don't know, a little tangent I'm going on. Is everyone's good at something. And the way I try to take of it is I try to find the best person at that thing. Then they're my friend. And then... Or friend or worker, whoever I work with. Find the one thing they're really good at. Learn as much as I can from that.
Yep.
And then if they're not good at anything else, or not as good as someone else, I'm okay, I'll take your opinion, but I'm going to compare it to the person that's done it for 20 years.
Yeah, that's...
And, if you can learn something from one thing from someone that's done it for 20 years, that's 20 years of experience that you have.
Yeah.
Literally. And I'm 21 years old. Exactly. And I could learn 20 years of things in, a week or two, just by asking questions, following what they do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best way to live, because...
Then you put yourself on a head start.
Yeah. Martial arts really taught me that, too, because I was one of those people that I'm super stubborn, and sometimes I'm
No.
super super close-minded sometimes. And like martial arts forced me to like, okay, I have to be able to accept opinions from other people. I'm not right. I'm ass. Like this motherfucker whooped my ass 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to listen to what he tells me. You know what I mean? And so I think martial arts is a good.
Yeah, there's so many different aspects of martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to, that's why I think it's better than boxing. Even though it doesn't look as pretty, but that's what's the fun about it is there's so many different things you have to worry about. You have to worry about the kick. You have to worry about punches, head to bottom. So you're always thinking about extra steps and every little thing you need to be prepared for.
Yeah.
In boxing, you're a specialist. You just need to punch and dodge.
And there's like tricks to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you...
Every person has their own little trick to do something. And if you find the right person with the right little trick and you take that...
Yep.
It's...
Yeah. And that's like...
That's what you need.
So I can't give away too much, but I was at practice the other day and we were going over a certain submission and we were talking about like in this situation you do this thing. Like you said, you know, a couple minutes ago. You know, you find someone who's been doing that thing or they're very good at that thing and you take parts of that they tell you or that you observe and you apply that to yourself. It's just exactly what you said.
I don't know about you, but when I first started playing basketball and learning how to shoot, I looked up best shooters and I saw Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and I said, okay, Klay Thompson has like by definition, the most picture-perfect jumper ever. And I said, I'm just going to watch Klay Thompson and how he shoots. And I just did exactly, visualized it, kept doing it. Didn't watch anyone else. Because if Klay Thompson's the best shooter, why would I want to pay attention to Russell Westbrook, how he's playing, more or less? Or like Steph Curry, like why would you not want to take tips from the best?
Yeah, I mean, and like, not everyone has, and like you said, I mean, not everyone's going to be... You're not going to find that one person that, like, knows everything. But, for example, Tim Welch and Sean O'Malley have in my opinion, the best striking in the UFC. So why wouldn't you learn their striking? Like you said, Steph Curry, why wouldn't you learn how he comes off of screens? Or
that Nebraska dude, Dylan Raiola. People are making fun of him for trying to be Mahomes. Why would you not? Why would you not want to be Mahomes?
Exactly.
Why did people not try to be like Tom Brady for 20 years? You know how stupid that was?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the best quarterback to ever do it, and nobody talks about him. Nobody cares to watch what he does, even though you should. He's literally the best.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think that ideology is so stupid. I've never understood that either. Because I've always heard people like, oh, you're a Conor McGregor wannabe, or you're a Sean O'Malley.
Why would I not? They're the best.
Yeah. Why the fuck would I not want to be that dude?
It worked for them.
He's on his way to being a billionaire. Why would I not want to be
literally
like that guy? What the fuck are you talking about?
If someone else has already done a thing, why would you waste your time not following their steps if it's already worked? Like, take your own spin to things. Like, everyone's own person. You're not going to have the same exact experience, but take what you can.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I completely agree with that. That always irks me, too. If I ever have someone say that to me, I'm going to be like... I mean, I guess I don't really know how I'm going to respond to that. I'll probably just be like...
I mean, it doesn't matter what they think, really, anyways.
True.
Especially for you fighting, like...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean... I don't know.
If you found your thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what you want to do. I'm still on the hunt for, like, that...
Yeah, which is fine. I mean...
Thing.
You're young. Like, you don't always have to have things figured. I'm lucky. I'm blessed that I've, like... found that thing so early, because me and Kayla were talking about this like a week or so ago, and she always was like, I don't know what I want to do, and I'm like, that's fine. Like, you don't have to rush. Like, you don't have to rush it. The thing is you know, I sent her this video from Instagram. It was essentially like, if you don't know exactly what you want to do, that's fine. Just focus on being the best person that you can be. Find out what, you know, relationship skills that you lack or whatever, work on those, and as you continue to progress as a person, you'll find what you want to do. Like it.
And I feel like, I don't know about you if you feel this too, but when I don't really know a lot of, like, I don't have a very strong opinion on most things, but I can always tell what feels right.
Yep.
Like when I was picking out my cars, I was driving a bunch of cars. I'm like, I like this, I like that, whatever. But as soon as I set foot in my car, I was like, this is the one. Before I even drove it, I was like, I feel myself driving this car, and it felt so good. And that happens for a lot of things. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's a really good skill to have that I think a lot of people.
What's that? Your intuition?
Yeah, that's where I was going. A lot of people don't have that skill of listening to themselves, and I don't know why.
It's the best thing you can do.
Yes.
One of the best things you can do.
Yeah, and I mean
because it goes back to the consciousness and the God. Like,
yes,
if you can, I forget. I really wish I had it. There's a Venn diagram I saw. And I've been thinking about this, and it said flow state. It was in the middle, and it said surrendering your mind, and something else I could forget. It was like surrendering your mind and letting your body take control is flow state. So like shutting off your brain and just like flicking the wrist, doing what you know.
I'm looking it up.
Letting your mechanics.
Is it this? Nope, that's not it.
But the flow state. And recently, this kind of goes like when I kind of need to. I'm trying to think. I've kind of surrendered my mind, and kind of surrendered it to a God.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I just trust like what's gonna happen is gonna happen. It's gonna work out, and like, doing that, surrendering my mind, has made me focus on myself a lot more and other things.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I kind of just put names, whatever. I'm pretty nervous or whatever, and I think a lot, overthink a ton. But recently I haven't. Just let it go. Focusing on like health, body, doing this, relationships, and everything. And I've been more fortunate in the past couple weeks than I have all my life.
Yeah.
A lot better. A lot of things have happened.
I think that's also a good, being able to say that you know that you're doing the right things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always positive. I'm always like striving to be better. The universe, like, it's gonna work out. You know what I mean? Like, just always having that mindset, that's a very good mindset to have. Because I feel like I'm like, yeah, I overthink shit too. And so being able to like just kind of calm down, like, okay, it's gonna work out. Stop worrying about it. Stop freaking out. Like, it is what it is. But trying to have that same mindset when things aren't going your way is even better. Like, you need to have that mindset through the good and the bad things.
Yeah, through the bad.
Yeah.
Especially
the bad. Because, that's
when you need it the most.
Exactly. That's when you need it the most. Yep. I mean, I wish everyone kind of... I think it's literally just called enlightenment. I think you've been enlightened.
Enlightenment?
Yeah. I think you've been enlightened.
Like me personally?
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Sounds like it. What's that mean?
Just means like you've found enlightenment, I guess. Let me look up the exact definition.
I feel
stupid not knowing the definition.
Well, all those words, they mean their own. There's a bunch of meanings, depending on how you look at it.
Okay.
But what's Google say? What's Oxford?
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Enlightenment?
European intellectual... No, not the fucking Enlightenment period. What the fuck? The state of having knowledge or understanding. Like, you understand basically what life is about. Meditation helps with that tremendously. And staying in the moment, like that book called The Power of Now, not worrying about the future, not worrying about the past, just
That's
being
what it is.
present. Yeah.
That's the change in my mind. What I started doing was, one day I went, I don't know, I looked at the clock and I was like, damn, I didn't do anything today. Like, today flew by fast. I haven't done anything. And I was like, I'm going to live hour by hour. I'm going to live minute by minute.
Mm-hmm.
So now I really go minute by minute in my head. Makes my days feel way longer. I get way more stuff done.
Yep.
I'm literally not thinking about an hour in the future. I'm thinking, where am I going right now? I'm going to Gabe's. Oh, let's go to Gabe's. We're talking, doing whatever. Not a thought. That's my world in that moment. Is that minute.
Right.
And what really flipped it was like someone tweeted out and they said it's really never going to be this minute again.
Yeah.
Like this minute right now, it's gone. It's going to be etched in history. It's a memory. It's a point in time.
Yeah. And
it's really just like slowed.
That's true. Down. Like, and it can kind of be applied like, you and your girl or whatever having an argument, and you could be like, okay, I can waste the next 20 minutes being pissed off, and those 20 minutes I'm never going to get back.
Yeah.
I could just forget about it. It's a lot harder said than done. A lot easier said than done.
Yeah, especially if something actually irks you.
Yeah.
If something actually irks you, it's 20 minutes of fuel.
And you're sitting there just all fucking pissed off, all riled up. Dude, I get like that too. Mm-hmm. And then I'm finally like, all right, Kayla, come here. I love you.
You just gotta breathe.
Yep, just
lean the head back.
Yeah, that Power of Now book is really good.
Who's it by again? Do you have it?
Eckhart Tolle. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to read it, you can.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to.
It's sitting over there.
I'll have to check that out afterwards.
That might be one of the best books I've ever read in my life. He was talking about he wanted to kill himself. Pretty sure. Like he was on the verge of killing himself, and he was sitting there, and I don't remember. It's been like 8-9 months since I read the book. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So, but he was basically sitting there on his bed, and he was so engulfed in that moment, like we were just talking about, and he like felt like such a positive wave of energy that he ended up passing out. He passed out, and he woke up, and immediately, like after he woke up, he was enlightened, like we were talking about, and he was just like, "Oh, this is what life is supposed to be like." And then he
he just kind of woke up one day and...
No, he passed out from that situation, and then when he woke up from after passing out, he was like, "Holy shit! Like this is like what it's supposed to be like." And then ever since then, he's been kind of like a spiritual teacher of like, "Hey, this is how like you need to be in the moment and just enjoy the moment."
Yeah.
And like without, everyone says, "But okay, but this moment sucks." It's like, okay, but you can't have good without bad. You can't have love without hate. Can't like
some of the best things that happened to me this past week have been directly preceded by like an absolute terrible thing. Like my car taking a shit.
Yeah.
That turned into like that whole next week afterwards was like the happiest week of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I woke up, felt different, and changed my mindset. And
yeah, I mean that
one thing to another. But everything, I feel like anytime I do something, it's like if something bad happens, and this is what helps like thinking through in the moment. When something bad happens, I go, okay, I can deal with this. Mm-hmm. What's gonna happen next? Like something. Yeah. Then I'm like, oh, I'm thinking positive. Like, okay, this is my low. Something's got to come next.
Yeah. Let me.
And that's really what like keeps me through like each moment, each minute.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good way of looking at it. Chris Williamson posted something along those lines like the other day. Not everything is gonna be. It was on Instagram. Let me see if I can find it while I'm talking about it. Not everything. It's very naive to think that something is going to be always good or always bad. Like, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not everything, what goes up comes down, and what goes down comes up.
Yeah, there's equal and opposite energies all the time.
Equal and opposite reactions. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just, yeah, I mean, knowing that when shit's going bad, knowing it's not going to go bad forever. It's gonna get better.
It's going to at least level out, and then what's going to happen is what's going to happen.
And just staying positive, like we talked about the law of attraction. Like, okay, how can I grow from this? How can I learn from this? That's just really what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can. But has any other crazy shit happened to you over the last week?
I've got a story.
What's up?
Got a girlfriend, and I went out
Off the market.
Off the market. High demand.
So none of you bad bitches out there, if I can hit him up.
No, please stay away. I'm scared. Anyways, so I'm in Bentley, and I'm like, you know what would be really nice? I need to get flowers. I'm going to get flowers for my girlfriend. And I'm walking all through Finley, and it started out as like I'm searching for something, and then I was like, let me just walk through Finley. Let me just take where this goes with me. So I end up like walking around in a block in a circle, and I'm like, where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? And I saw a literal sign, and it was an arrow, and I like walked to the arrow, and I was like, okay, let me see if there's anything here. And I like stopped, and I took a glance, and I looked around, and I was like, church door's open.
What?
I was like, let me just go to church. Yeah, church door was open, so I was like, I'm bored, let me just find something. Went in there, did whatever. I was literally just like walking around.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of time I was in there, though, I didn't plan it. I literally just took my time, minute by minute. I didn't care when I was leaving. I didn't have a deadline all day.
Mm-hmm.
I get out of the building immediately. Like, you know, those like free book things.
Yeah.
I'm standing there. Someone comes up. One of my friends drives by, stops his car. I don't ever see this kid. He's from Upper, lives in Finley. And he's like, oh, I'm on my way home. I saw you. I thought I saw you. And I'm like, dude, that's so crazy. Like, you don't realize, like, how this week's been going. No, I see him and talking to him. And he's like, what are you even doing? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'm just, like, on a journey. I'm walking through Finley. And I'm like, oh, whatever. But I go back. I'm walking away from him. Have our interaction. We meet. Talk. I'm walking away. And I'm like, no, I am going to text him. Hey, I'm looking for flowers. Do you have any idea? And he's like, oh, I don't know, but there's some by the courthouse. I'm like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that. I'm like, okay, cool. Talk to him. That's fine. Not thinking any of it. Walking down this other street, and it's Sunday. It's like a Sunday at like 5 or 6. So everything's closed in Finley. Nobody should be out, really. I didn't see any other people. I walk by this store, and as I'm walking back away from it, some lady walks out. And again, I'm like, I should really talk to this lady and ask her, like, in my head, I'm like, I should talk to this lady and I should ask her for some flowers. But I'm like, walking, I'm like, no, then my brain was like, no, don't talk to her, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But my heart was like, no, I'm going to do it anyway. So I turn around and I'm like, hey, can you help me? I'm trying to find flowers for my girlfriend. And she goes, oh, there's a store. I don't know where it's at. She's on the phone with someone. She's like, do you know where it's at? Where it's at? She's like, it's called Great Scott. And I'm like, oh, okay, Great Scott. And I knew where Great Scott was. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, perfect. Do you know where Great Scott is compared in Finley?
Which one? Like the one...
downtown?
Yeah.
It's on the same road as the courthouse.
Yep.
Funny enough.
Yep.
So literally, like, I talked to him randomly, and he's like, go to the courthouse. And she's like, go get to this flower shop. Put them together. They took me to Great Scott.
Wow.
Like, and I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy, first of all. And I'm getting there, and I'm trying to buy flowers. And it wasn't raining at all day. It was kind of getting cloudy, but it wasn't raining at all day. As soon as I'm looking at flowers, I'm like, I don't know if I should get these ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking away. And as I'm walking out of the store, some dude goes, he didn't talk at all the whole time. He goes, talks to the cashier lady, and she goes, oh, thank God we didn't get as much rain as we thought we were going to get. At least it stopped. And I go, not even thinking, I'm like, yeah, thank God. Just walking out, making conversation. As I'm leaving without the flowers, no other option available in Finley, it starts to rain again. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. And whether it's connected or not, I took it as a sign.
Yeah.
And that's really what I've been doing, just taking everything. Something good happens, I'm like, oh, that's a sign to take me somewhere.
Yep.
So I circle back around. I'm getting drenched. I circle back around. I pick up the flowers, take them inside, go check out. Stops raining the rest of the night. And I walked to my car and everything. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like, I only went back because it was raining. Because it started raining, and I bought the flowers, and it stopped. And then...
That's kind of crazy, actually.
So, like, it seems like a bunch of random things, but the fact that I saw one friend and then talked to the other lady, and they both lined up to, like, what I needed. Basically pointed me in a direction. And then as soon as I went away from that direction I was being told to go to, bad things happened. It started raining. Not that it's bad to rain, but obviously, like, it's like a...
rain is usually, like, rain can be a sign. So,
yeah.
That is crazy.
That's what I was taking. I was like, okay, if it's raining out of the blue, like, something bad probably happened or is happening.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And that's just one story. Like, it's hard to tell. It's hard to recall them.
Right.
But in the moment by moment, like, you can just see it. It's like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Living that way. It's the biggest thing in your world at that point.
And, yeah, I mean, if you can always see positive in things, like, your life's going to be good, you know. Let's end with this. Let me read 10 pieces of advice for anyone going through a tough time. All right, number 1, life will not be like this forever. Nothing's permanent, good or bad.
True.
When you're on top of the world, it's not going to last. When the world's on top of you, it won't last for as long as you fear. You feel like a sleepy balloon right now. Soon enough, it will be just a memory of something you got through. It's just one day, one activity, one thought at a time. Keep plotting. 2, mundane successes are big wins. Success may previously have been this grand, impressive occasion that occurs in front of other people. Today you went for a walk, or were kind to that person at the supermarket, or were gentle with yourself, and when you became frustrated. Is this outwardly magnificent as your life's the greatest achievement? No, but days feel like you're lifting on Mars. Jesus. But some days feel like you're lifting on Mars, and other days feel like you're lifting on Jupiter. Today is a Jupiter day. I think he's talking about, gravity is heavier than usual right now, so well done for carrying the weight. Boring victories achieve no fanfare, but they're even more meaningful. 3, go easy on yourself. You're going to feel frustrated or resentful or anxious or scared. It's fine. That's going to happen. You're safe. Let it move through you.
And knowing it happens, if you can really, like, and I've gotten a lot better at this myself. I've learned, like, when I'm feeling nervous, or, like, it's still pretty hard to know, like, when I'm feeling nervous, like, in the moment. But as soon as it's over, I'm like, oh God, okay, I was nervous there.
Yeah.
What can I do? Like, how did I get nervous, or how did I get anxious? Why did I feel that way? Mm-hmm. And I just try to, like...
Yeah, becoming self-aware, I think, is, like, one of the most important things you can do for yourself. And go, like... So... One of the most terrifying things is, you know, you got 3 people... You're standing in that cage, and the moment when everyone's walking out, and there's just that, it's just it's basically just a frozen time. It's like what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's like time is just frozen.
Yeah.
And you're just staring at that dude,
just
knowing in your
time.
Yeah, you're knowing that, like, we're about to fuck each other up. Mm-hmm. And, like, everyone's walking out of the cage. That is, like, one of the most terrifying things. But that's okay. Like, I always used to be like, no, I can't be scared in this moment. No, I can't. It's like, no, it's okay to be scared. But you're going to do it anyway. You know?
Yeah, one movie that is actually really good, but both of them. Inside Out 1 and Inside Out 2. They actually are...
Heard of them.
Never? You need to watch it. Especially the second one.
Inside Out? Is that what it's called?
Yep. It's a Pixar movie.
Just popped up.
Inside Out 2. So...
Okay. I've seen of it.
It's actually really helped me. The newest one, it's called...
Number 2.
Yeah, number 2. The second one, they introduced a new character called Anxiety. Mm-hmm. And basically the story of it... Spoilers. They, like... Anxiety takes over. And it's supposed to be there to help. But it ends up taking over, and, like, too much of it happens all at once. That's the whole plot of the movie. Mm-hmm. Well, at the end, it's, like, trying to do everything at once, and it is doing everything at once, but it's stuck. It's frozen. Like it's like a functional freeze. Like, yeah, it's getting by, but it's not...
being efficient and...
Yeah, it's not doing it as good as it could.
Okay.
Well, the story, the ending is the fact that, like, they don't want to get rid of anxiety. They could just be like, no, get away. We don't want you. But instead they go, anxiety, you're here to help. You're here to be used for preparing us for the future, preparing us for when everyone else leaves.
Mm-hmm.
You feel anxiety, you feel nervous, but it's getting you ready.
Yep.
It's just like when it gets too much of anything is bad for you.
Right.
And in the right time and place, being anxious is good because it's helping you and saving you. Or fear can take you over or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
you just got to be able to know how to regulate them.
Yeah. And like understanding. Yeah. I mean,
understanding when you're feeling it.
Right. And knowing, and like literally saying to yourself, okay, I'm feeling anxious. This is what
That
I
helps
have
a
to, This is
lot.
what I have to do.
For anyone, that helps so much. Just saying, talking to yourself is,
Yes. Just
okay,
breathe.
anxiety.
You just
I'm
need to
anxious
breathe.
right now. I'm a little nervous.
Take a deep breath. Just take a, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Double inhale is good. So
Yeah.
that's really good. But this one, going easy on yourself, dude, I struggle with that so much. I have my expectations for myself are so high that it's like if I don't meet those expectations, I beat the fuck out of myself, like, you motherfucker, like.
Mm-hmm.
So not doing that and just saying like, okay, like look how far you've come to this point. Like you've gotten so far.
And you have. From when you start, from watching you box that first exhibition at Venue 18 to like seeing what you've done now and knowing what everyone said, like it's insane how much you've done to get here.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Like 10 months ago, nobody would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask anybody.
Yeah.
Ask Spankies, they would have. Not that they didn't believe in you, but
I know what you mean. Yeah. It's just you've
done a lot.
Number 4, you do not need to offer the world anything. Okay, you don't feel as impressive as usual right now. Does it feel like the world's about to abandon you because you can't give it something in return? You did not enter into some trade with reality when you were born, only being accepted for as long as you can provide value as recompense. Yeah. Maybe your jokes are less funny and your stories are less original and your aura is less energizing, but you're not going to be abandoned. Your friends want to help and need nothing in return. 5, I'm not going to read all this stuff. There's too much. 5, judge yourself on your actions, not your thoughts. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Allow yourself to become a priority. That's a really good one. I think everyone... And I know growing up, my parents were always like, don't be so selfish. And it's like, no, you literally need to be selfish.
Yes,
literally.
You do. People tell me that all the time. When I was little, it'd be, you're so cocky, you're so full of yourself. You're so cocky, you're full of yourself. And I'm like, yeah, because I want to be the best.
It's called confidence. People very often, misplace confidence for arrogance.
Yeah.
It's like, no. I'm confident
because I know I can do it.
Exactly. Like I believe in myself, and people don't like that.
No.
People cannot stand that. And so I mean, ask for help. Yep, I struggle with that. Being able to know, like, okay,
when you're beat.
Yep, like, hey, I need help.
It's a good, yeah.
8.
People help a lot.
They do, but you have to ask.
Yeah, you have to.
No one's going to be able to tell, like, hey, this motherfucker needs help. You got to be like, hey, I need help with this. Can you help me?
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, people will. It's just you have to ask.
Yes, people's first instinct is to be nice. Mm-hmm. That's the first nature anyone knows. It's everything else that happens to you that makes you feel and act different.
Yeah, I think...
Or gives people a reason to when even...
I think people see negative more often than they see the positive. You can have 7 positive things happen in a row and 3 negative, and you're only going to remember the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So not like people's first instinct, like you said, is to help. Number 8, don't worry about not feeling grateful. I don't know if I agree with that.
Not feeling grateful.
Things will happen, some good. It'll be hard to fully feel appreciation for them. Your daily experience is swimming in melancholy. Everything is tough enough as it is. Don't make yourself feel worse for not being happier about the little things in life right now. You would have if you could. Okay, I agree with that. Like, It's saying, like, you don't always have to, it's okay to feel down sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, I agree.
Ebb and flows.
But I do also agree with, like, anxiety and gratefulness come from the same region of your brain. So you can't feel two at the same time. It's like if you're, like, feeling anxious and pissed off and, like, all this stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So, like, it's the same part of your brain as... So if you're just like, you know what? And it really helps, like... You're like, oh my God, I did, like, this happened to me, and this happened to me. And then if you can counteract that with, okay, I have my health is good. I'm not in the hospital, I'm not dying. I have my legs, I have my eyes, I have my arms, my family. Like, if you can do that, like, your life's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
You got to think, like, we're here, and then there's some 16, 17-year-olds, over fucking seas in war right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, most of us have it pretty good. 9, you make your most progress when things are hard. Absolutely.
Yeah, hard times great. What is the saying? Hard times great. Good men, whatever. Hard times great, good men.
Yeah. I think it's hard times create tough men create good times create soft men create hard times.
Yeah.
Hard times create tough men.
And well, if you look at there's like a little theory that everything repeats, history repeats itself.
Yep. 100%.
And we're coming into the 20-year period where this is the tough times.
Mhm. Well,
I think that's what we're at.
yeah. 100%. I mean, you got to see.
We're in a session.
Yeah, 100%. But, like, I mean, like you just said, that's 1,000% sure because literally all of the style from the 70s is coming back.
I've been telling people this.
Yep.
For like all year. I'm like, 70s are back. 70s are back.
Yep.
I'm telling you, like
Yes, it
the
is.
Lifestyle.
Yes.
People smoking and like being doped up all the time.
Yes.
Just style. Is that what coming back?
Like the
music, like even music's getting a little groovy. Like I've seen so many new like indie artists that are like, that's their style, that's their niche that they pick.
Is the 70s?
Is like
70s,
the
80s.
disco.
More, yeah, like
the disco-y, like just the vibe of the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, I mean,
and I love it personally.
I do too. I love it too. I wish I grew up in that time.
Me too.
Like this time is not for me. I 100%. But yeah, like going through tough times is what makes you grow the most. Like you're not gonna grow when it's this is easy,
When you're, it's like I mean you don't have to compare this to sports, but it's like sports. When you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
Yeah.
Like the shout out Cowboys. You know who?
Yeah.
The Cowboys when they don't make it.
You, Alex.
When they don't make the moves or whatever, like when they don't make a move, it's. Yeah, they're a great team every year, but when you don't make any moves, you're getting worse.
Right.
When you don't actively try to get better on yourself, on anything, like we don't test yourself to get better.
Yep.
You're not going to get better.
You're not pushing yourself, yeah. Number 10, you're not falling behind. You have this vague sense that you're falling behind if you're not always making progress. That is a lie. There's no arbitrary minimum level of productivity you need to meet every day in order to feel worthwhile. Even Olympians get injured and take time off. Even the best performing stocks have pullbacks. Expand your time horizon. Look at your year-on-year growth, not intraday price. Your progress has been great. You were overdue a small correction anyway. You're still in there. Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree.
I think it just goes back to being easy, not being easy on yourself, but like being good to yourself. Like, you have to know when to push yourself. You have to know when to be tough on yourself. But you also have to know when to, like...
take the break.
Be like, hey, you've come a long way. Like, this is what you've been doing this for a long time. Like, you've made it this far. I think that's super important.
Mm-hmm.
But we're at 1 hour and 30 minutes.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, we should cut it there. You have anything else you want to talk about?
I think I'm good. I think we really like expressed what I kind of did talk exactly what we wanted to.
You want to? Yeah, that's good. That was my goal.
I started flowing in that last bit.
Yeah, I wanted to hit everything you wanted to talk about for sure. Yeah.
So October 5th, fight night.
Yep, October 5th.
I'll be there.
Bust this kid up. It's gonna be fun.
I hope it is.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. This
Good.
kid's tough. I mean, everyone says he sucks. His wrestling's not that good, and I'm like, yeah, I know.
But you gotta expect that he is the best.
Yeah, he is good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand when people say that. Like, this kid's good. I mean, he trains all the time. Like, it's a fight with a guy who
A
trains.
whole other dude that's doing the same exact stuff as you, trying
Exactly.
as just as hard,
Exactly.
living his own
and
life.
He's gonna try to go out there and fuck me up.
And he's also gonna get nervous right before the bell.
The
and
dude's dangerous. Like, it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah. So, I'm prepared. I'm excited. It is crazy though that like next week the fight's gonna be over. I'm gonna be back here. This puppy's gonna be right there.
And you're gonna take the moment. And you're gonna say, "We made it."
Yep. Yeah. N words. We made it.
In word, we made it.
I can't say that. But thank you all for listening. Appreciate you. Episode 49. Grant. Follow me on all the socials. HoneyHaydenMMA. Follow Grant. Grant Kromer.
Grant Kromer most places.
Yep. That's it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share.
Like, subscribe, comment, and share.
Yes, sir. Heard it here.
Peace
See you in
out.
the next one. Deuces.